Welcome to the Yellowjackets Hive, presented by cordcutting.com. I'm Media Melanie here with...
And I'm Emily.
And today's exclusive episode is going to cover the biggest unanswered questions that we still have after season 2 of Yellowjackets. And there's a few of them.
Yes, there are quite a few.
Definitely. So let's start with our Twitter people who we posed the question to see what some of the fans are thinking are some of their biggest moments that we did not get answered. Allison, where is Steve? That is a really, really, really good question. Where is Steve?
Yeah.
Who's taking care of him? He's freshly adopted. Where is he?
Yeah, because I was also thinking, like, when she sees Sammy and she imagines Sammy being at her house, like, we see Steve, but when Simone comes later to find Sammy, I didn't see Steve.
No
he wasn't there.
Yikes.
So what happened to him?
Did he escape? Is he maybe on the altar? Yikes. Hopefully not. But that is definitely a big question. Hopefully we're going to get some resolution to that come season 3. Our friend Vine, where's Crystal's body? It is most likely under the snow, but then if it isn't, where is it? Crystal, where are you?
Yeah. That's a huge question that I have. Like, is it just as simple as Misty didn't look hard enough? Like, is it really that simple? Or are they trying to hint at something supernatural happening? Or like
an animal maybe? But we don't see a lot of animals, right? So where is she? Did she just disappear? I have a feeling maybe Misty didn't dig deep enough, but I don't know.
Some people are like, she's not there because she wasn't real. Like the people that think she's imaginary. Like there's still quite a few of those people that think that.
the imaginary Crystal supporters. I think Crystal was really there, so I don't think she was a figment of the girl's imagination. But I would like to know where her body is. That is definitely a big unanswered question. Same. Along with that, Shelley asked, who is Adam? We still don't really know exactly.
Yeah. Is like his is his body being found like the end of that story, like the end of the Adam story, or like will he come back into play in some other way? Because I just keep going back to his back tattoo, especially after seeing this season the whole way through and seeing the drawings that Javi made that Coach Ben found. They look so similar to his tattoo, like
very similar. And let's not forget about all the artwork in his studio, which seemed to represent some of the Yellowjackets and maybe an obsession he had. Yeah. And do we know the full backstory? Was he just a Yellowjackets obsessive, or was there some deeper meaning? We know at one point the writers did consider that Adam maybe could be Javi, but they did not go in that direction, of course. Yeah. They said Adam was just a guy. So maybe the storyline's done. It's over. We move on. I guess we'll see. We'll see. Along with that, Rupert said, is Walter involved with Lottie's wellness group? He had the purple clothes and states to Saracusa about implicating him in a crime by messing with his bank records, which could mean that it was him who emptied Travis's bank account. It's possible. I mean, he grabbed the purple coat. He's wearing purple. Was it all just some kind of a ploy to fit in so he could be there to poison Kevin Tan and subsequently kill him?
It was very interesting how he like wrapped up the whole police storyline like in a bow, like, and how he was able to like, he essentially had to like create evidence like against Kevin Tan, like, because he said that like he had all this proof that like his bank records were attached to it or something like that, like. And, like, he had to have fabricated something. Like, that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
I agree. And to your point of the neat little bow, I think it was a little bit too neat and a little too convenient. So curious to know if we'll see Saracusa again, if there's going to be more fallout from the Adam murder, or if it's just done and we're moving on.
I was kind of sad they killed Kevin Tan off. I like
I
him.
was too. I liked him. I would have much rather seen Mustache go than Kevin Tan, but we don't always get what we want. So, Brandon Smith, who exactly was Javi talking to in the woods, and why didn't he go back to the cabin after Doomcoming? Who was Javi's friend?
Yeah.
What Fuke tie? Was it the mysterious tree woman drawn into the tree roots that Javi drew? We may never get an answer to that question, unfortunately.
That'll frustrate me because that's something that like I've been so curious about. Like I want to know how I mean, they found that cave, so like they think they know how he survived, or like at least Coach Ben thinks he knows how he survived. But like that still doesn't explain like how was he able to provide food for himself? Like did he actually have a fire? Because we saw like it looked like there had been a fire there. We saw the lantern in the cave.
We
Like
sure did, with some animal bones, which some people speculated were baby bones, but pretty sure
nah.
they're small rodents, bats, mice, etc. So we know he did survive. Maybe it was somewhat miraculous, but he made it, and unfortunately, then he didn't make it. So we may never get the answer to who Javi's friend was. Champagne Supernova wanted to know, how is Misty going to handle Nat's death? And I feel like they'll definitely open season 3 on her funeral. I think our MFQ is going to be in for a real emotional struggle and roller coaster come season 3. And it's good that she has Walter there to support her, because that was her bestie. And having lost Crystal in the teen timeline, I bet she still has some kind of guilt over that. So I wonder if that's going to come up again. And perhaps it will come out that she was also somewhat responsible for Crystal's death.
I feel like Natalie dying and like Misty being responsible may be like one of the only instances in her life that she actually feels like real genuine guilt over what she did, because her intention was not to hurt Natalie. Her intention was to hurt Lisa. Her intention was to hurt the person that was trying to hurt Natalie. And if that had never happened, like Natalie wouldn't be dead, because if it had been anybody else, like she would have never done that.
Exactly. So I do think there's going to be a lot of fallout, and we will very much, I believe, get an answer to at least that question come season 3. Brenda Bren, of course, the man with no eyes, and the connection to Taissa and the symbol. I swear, the man with no eyes situation, and I mean, we still don't even have an answer on the symbol either, but the man with no eyes, we didn't really get any kind of resolution or wrap up on that at the end of season 2.
Yeah, and I'm more curious about him now that like we saw Taissa following him like when she was like sleepwalking, but he was leading her to that cliff. Like, so was he trying to make her hurt herself? Like, was he trying to hurt her? Like, because before, like, we know her grandmother saw that. So, like, we kind of speculated that maybe it was a generational kind of thing and like this affected her whole family, like seeing this man with no eyes. But the fact that he was like leading her essentially like to her death, like makes me think that like he's a bad figure. Like
a lot of people think he represents death, like he's kind of a Grim Reaper situation. In many instances in society, the Grim Reaper or these death figures typically have no eyes, so that could be I mean, there's a slight chance he could be trying to help, because that same tree with the symbol was where the cave was. So is it possible he was trying to lead her there for that? It's really hard to say. It's really hard to say. So the next question was Jolie, or actually she agreed, the man with no eyes in the symbol. That's definitely one I think all the fans are looking for some answers to. So additional tweets, we have Adam asking the origin of Cabin Daddy, and again, the man with no eyes. Hopefully with the Cabin Daddy situation, we get a bonus episode with Jason Ritter. If you did not catch our Cord Cutting exclusive episode where we talked about the confirmation of the bonus episode and us speculating on whether or not it would be a Jason Ritter Cabin Daddy backstory, check that out. We did talk about that. But yes, we all want to see what Jason Ritter filmed. Are we going to get another timeline? Definitely some questions with that.
And we've said before too that in episode 9, when Van starts telling the story about the wilderness, like we both have said, like we both really thought that that moment was the moment that we were going to get a Cabin Daddy backstory or like something like a flashback, and
Anything.
it was kind of a little disappointing that we didn't. I felt like that was like the perfect opportunity to input that into the story.
Agree. And it could be that they just had too much footage and had to cut it out. And perhaps that will weave into this bonus episode that we are all very much looking forward to. Very much. Marie also asked, why did Javi die twice? Now, I don't know if we'll necessarily get an answer to that, but it was a real gut punch thinking that we lost him the first time, getting him back, and then losing him in such a tragic way. That hit us pretty hard.
And a lot of people have said that, like, it kind of felt like Javi was marked for death because when he came back from the wilderness, like being lost in the wilderness, that he had that queen card. Like, he was the first person to have the queen card. So he was the one that was going to die, not Natalie.
Yeah, the wilderness chose him. So it is what it is. And Detective Drew, when will adult Ben be revealed alive and well? And where's Crystal and who's Javi's friend? We addressed those. But Ben, will he be revealed to be alive and well? As you keep saying, the longer he's surviving in the wilderness, the more his chances of making it to the present day timeline. So,
yeah. The only thing that like makes me think no is that if like the Cannibal Council, like if those are the only people that survive, like out of everybody, then all of them had 2 legs. So he wasn't there.
That's right. Yeah. There is the thing where the show said it was going to be 2 clans of warring groups, right? So that looked like one very cohesive group. So is there a whole separate group besides the Cannibal Council with some of the additional extras we saw, maybe Coach Ben? We will hopefully get more Cannibal Council and Pit Girl.
I just don't know, because I feel like that's already like a lot of survivors. We know they kill at least one more person. Like,
at least
Pit Girl. Like, yeah. So we know at least one more person dies. And I don't think that Pit Girl was the first. So I feel like there's at least 2 more like definite deaths in the teen timeline that we're going to see.
Definitely. And they may not come that soon, because I keep thinking too, with the Cannibal Council animal pelts, where did they get the animal pelts from? They didn't take them from the cabin. We don't see any animals. So it is rather confusing where they got them from. If they did find animals, that would lead me to believe they had enough meat to get by and they wouldn't need to kill somebody. So
yeah. So in that instance, like, during the summertime when like there's actual food, like, does that mean that they just stop hurting each other? Like, and there's like an unspoken truce for those months or something like that, which would be crazy, but I don't know.
It would be. I want to see what clan is what. That's an unanswered question I have. Like, who's on which side? How are they getting into it? That battle scene that we all saw with them charging, now we know was not them charging at another clan. So hopefully we'll get more of that in season 2 as well. Big question here by New Age Girl. Who is feeding Caligula? I am stressed about it. And that is a great question. We know the passage of time in the adult timeline is not as long. So technically, you know, Taissa hasn't been gone that long. Misty hasn't been gone that long. But hopefully someone is taking care of these poor animals.
And Misty has a job. Like where, like, does her job not wonder where she is either? And like, Taissa just became a senator. Like, granted, like, if the time really is passing the way we think it's passing, she hasn't taken office yet. But you still get all these responsibilities and like have all these appearances and stuff like that that you have to do. So, like, isn't anybody wondering like where these people are?
Really good question. Shauna's family is maybe the only family that actually knows, you know, where she is and what she's doing. Further questions, Ghostface 118, will we get more TaiVan next season? I think the entire fandom hopes so. Although, I mean, Taissa is married, of course, to Simone, though they're really going through it. And that's another question, too, is Simone. Like, what's the deal with her? We see her in the hospital. We remember Taissa had written the symbol on her hand, probably as her fugue self. But Simone is not looking really good in that hospital bed hooked up to all those tubes.
No. And it was interesting that like when Taissa realized that she drew that on her hand, she immediately like went and like scrubbed it off.
Yep.
So that makes me even more curious about what the symbol actually like means to them.
Right. And maybe it's something bad. We've speculated. Is it something protective? Is it a warning? Is it a bad omen? So in Taissa's mind, it must be something bad if she doesn't want it on her hands, but her fugue self drew it. So there's this dichotomy of, what's what with the symbol. So that is a big question. Lisa, who's the man with no eyes, we talked about that. And a reading duck, what does the symbol mean? Again, still no resolution on our symbol. But
no, and like at least in the teen timeline right now, like we know that some of them believe that the symbol is good and some of them believe that the symbol is bad. Like because we see when Lottie gives Shauna that baby blanket and she stitched it into the baby blanket and Natalie like freaks out on her. Like, why would you put that on that blanket? Like, and she says, like, we found it around a dead guy's body. Like, how can you think that this means anything good? And Lottie says something like, just because you don't understand something doesn't make it evil. Like, so it also makes me wonder if we're ever going to actually get a real answer to that question. Like,
I hope we do.
Yeah.
I hope we do.
Yeah.
So we also had our Patreon fan hangout earlier today. So we thought we would ask some of our patrons what their unanswered questions are. So here's a clip from that.
Mine is, what really happened to Travis in that barn?
Yes.
That is a good one.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yes. I don't believe a word Lottie said.
No, I don't feel her narration is correct. No.
No way. Nope. Like, there's so much that doesn't add up.
And now that he's dead and she's committed, are we ever going to get an answer to that? TBD.
I hope so.
I hope so too. I hope so. Julie, how about you?
My question is, who sent the postcard? Like, who really sent it?
Yeah. That's right. We did not get closure on that. And I'm just going to say it was Coach Ben. I'm convinced he survived and he sent the postcard. So that's my theory. Do any of you guys have a theory on that?
I hope it's Ben. I would love to see him as the big guy.
Yeah. I would
Absolutely
love to see that too. Yeah. If he survives, that would be epic.
Like Emily keeps saying, the longer he keeps surviving, the better his chances get of showing up in that present day timeline. So we will see.
Yep.
Kim, how about you? Unanswered question.
I would really like to see the build up. Who came up with the idea to draw cards in season 2, episode 8?
Yeah.
Yes. And we know that scene, of course, was deleted. So hopefully it will come back into play at some point, or they'll release the unshown footage. But yes, definitely escalated fast. And I do hope that we get an answer to that as well. Well, that was some good insight. And speaking to Kim's about the deleted scene, we thought we would also play a clip with Maya Lowe, who plays Jen, and Jenna Burgess, who plays Melissa, talking more about that deleted scene.
Yeah, I think Maya and I both had some good moments in that scene that we were kind of bummed to see get cut out, which is probably why we were like, let's do an interview after that one. So maybe you should have talked to us last week. But it's such as being in the TV business, some scenes just have to go. Pacing, whatnot, little things here and there. It was a good scene. I'm sure remnants of it will pop up later, and they'll take things and elements of that and put into something else so you guys can see that. But
yeah, it was a good one. I'm happy Sophie acknowledged it, because it got cut, but there was some really, there was just some good moments and there's some funny moments. So I was just thinking that, like, I think with the tone of the episode too, and just what was happening, I think it made sense that the scene might not be there. So at the end of the day, it made sense. But yeah, I think we all had a little attachment to that scene.
Well, hopefully they are right, and we will eventually see remnants of that scene somewhere else popping up. There are more unanswered questions too, right? So we also have, did Ben actually set the cabin on fire? The continued supernatural versus logical. Yep. So definitely more. And then the extras. We're going to get more into that later, but we want answers too on who are these extras? What is their role going to be? We will revisit that in a future episode. But in the meantime, please drop a comment and let us know your biggest unanswered questions. What storylines were not wrapped up for you? Are there other things or elements that you wish you had more of an answer to? Drop a comment, let us know. And everybody, please be sure that you have bookmarked our page at cordcutting.com/yellowjackets-hive and follow Cord Cutting on YouTube. That way you do not miss any of our exclusive content.
Yes.
Definitely. Well, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys all very soon.
Yes. So until we spill again.